In this session, we're going to be digging into drafting parent communications, things we do from an administrator or even educator lens constantly. So we'll focus on using Gemini to support your communications with other teachers, other school leaders, and most importantly, families. So for us, whether you're an administrator or an educator, you are responsible for sharing important information with your school community. And so we're going to explore in this session how Gemini can support these communication efforts. But before we dive in, let's have a conversation about a current challenge you're experiencing regarding communication with your school community. Maybe it's a hard discussion you need to have with a parent group, or perhaps that your newsletter only gets a 10% open rate. So what are you hoping to learn in this session to make your communication easier or more impactful? Not only can Gemini help us be more productive by quickly creating first drafts, it can also help us create clearer and more engaging communication, which increases awareness and understanding. In this session, we're going to use Gemini to help us communicate a province or a state level, depending on where you're watching this from, or a ministry level policy change with parents and guardians. Gemini will help us summarize and format and differentiate the communication. So to start, we're going to do a little bit of a demonstration. And so this example will be more relevant to where you are based on Ministry of Education or departments that are sending it out. So use this for context. And so I'm going to jump into Gemini in just a few moments. And let's say that you have a ministry policy update to send parents and guardians. So it's dry, we know, and the language is a bit intimidating sometimes, all these edubabble, which may result in not being read or even understood. You can use Gemini to make the policy more accessible. So here's an example of what I'm going to do. I'm going to paste the policy into the prompt box in Gemini chat and add my instructions for what I want Gemini to do with the policy. For example, summarize this policy for our school's parents and guardians. Focus on how to keep kids safe, and give two versions, one in English and in this case one in Spanish, but I'm going to change that to the French language. So let's head over to Google Gemini and see what it prompts up with. So I'm going to copy and paste that exact prompt in here into the chat box. I came into Gemini and I clicked on New Chat, and I'm bringing this prompt in here. Just in the chat box, I'm not changing any of the settings, and I'm going to hit submit and see what it comes up with. Here's the English version. You can see it's Dear Parents and Guardians, and of course we can take these and put this into a Google Doc or put it into our email and be able to edit and keep the human in the loop. And here's the version en français, and being able to do the same. So if I wanted to pull that out into a Google Doc, I could either copy the response or I could export to Docs right here, and it's going to open that in the side for future editing and further editing, and for you to put in what you want to bring open. So watch me open this Google Doc, and you can see here something you can move and edit as you wish to be able to do before you send it. So that's with no iterations with moving forward on what you need to do. So it can be as simple as, linking PDF. It can be used in different aspects, or if it's already in a Google Doc, you can put it in and ask it to do very similar items. So before you can continue to go and iterate, you can always ask to try this in just a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a prompt, and then I'm going to come back and kind of model the same prompt with you. So what you're going to do in just a moment, and you can pause the video after I'm done explaining this prompt, is you can head to gemini.google.com and enter the following prompt. If you are stuck, if you have the ability to already have something on your mind or to go ahead, you can absolutely do so in a way that makes sense to you in this moment. But for this one, you're going to have Gemini act as a communication support and perform the following tasks. Now you can kind of bring these together or do it bit by bit, but drafting a 3-paragraph email to families about whatever topic. It could be a welcome topic. It could be just anything specifically logistics. Use a warm, collaborative tone that focuses on student well-being rather than just the rules. And then you can see there's different outputs, like a 3 bullets point summary at the top for busy parents reading on their mobile phones, or creating a 160 character version for a text message alert. And then again, translating the 3 bullet point summary into Spanish or a different language. And we can avoid educational jargon. So you're going to pause the video here, and when you're ready and you've sort of used Gemini to your advantage to dig into a topic in this way, and then unpause and we will revisit in just a moment. Okay, welcome back. We are ready to continue on your turn. And so before we go into the reflection piece, I'm going to open up my Gemini. I'm going to do the very similar prompt that you might have just done in your turn, but you can watch some of the results that I'm going to get. So I'm going to move out of this previous chat, click on new chat here in Gemini. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to chunk this and add the following prompt. Again, act as my communication support and perform the following tasks. Here it is, to draft a 3-paragraph email to families about welcoming them to the start of the new school year and to Mr. C's class. Use a warm, collaborative tone that focuses on student well-being and a welcoming environment rather than just the rules. Avoid educational jargon. You can see it's open there. A subject, welcome to the new school year to Mr. C's class. Dear families, there's 3 paragraphs. I'm going to read through it, of course, before I would ever send it, and your contact information. But I can continue to iterate it, and I could say provide that 3 bullet point summary. See what it comes up with. Okay, quick highlights at the top. You can see these are the items. That's amazing. I might even say create a 160 character version for a text message alert. Let's see what it comes up with. Perfect. Yeah, nice and short and sweet. There it is. And then lastly, translate the 3 bullet point summary into French. We'll see if it'll grab it from above. I'll give it a test. Beautiful. So just some things we can iterate and use for you in your communication strategies. And so what does this mean? Obviously, we're using Google Chat within Gemini. And so some of the takeaways is like, what can we do to have Gemini in our editing and collaborative feedback process? And then reflecting how can we continue to use it, just not on communication, but different versions of something. Or if we had a text already, what could we do to bring that in and ask it for feedback? And then, of course, we just need to put this into practice and take action. Try something by the end of this day, end of this week, end of this month, as we continue with these ideas. So we want you to be able to go in and take the quiz. Now the quiz, again, being some multiple choice piece that talks about some of the concepts that we did from there. And what we'll do is be able to certify your skills. So if you type into our URL browser, goo.gle/GES12, you'll be able to go to this idea of the certifications, the draft parent communications. You can continue to learn through some of these modules, but again, this is what we were giving you. If I click on Start Learning, it's going to bring us into some of these modules and go through it, so you can make sure you're logged in to be able to do that. And of course, when you're ready, you can click on Earn Your Badge, and then you can click on Next, and I'll agree here. And then you can see some of the questions here. There are 1 of 4 here, so again, not time consuming, but based on the content that we provided here with Logix in support of this, you'll be able to figure this out and support it and be able to have success and attain your badge for this focus. So We thank you from Logix, and as we continue to evolve our offerings for you, we would love this session feedback. You can scan this QR code or add this URL into that. It's also accessible via your registration packages and through where you are accessing this to watch. Thank you so much for joining it, and we look forward to continuing to learn with you soon.